When it first came to my attention, as I mentioned about 10 years ago, a group from Lansing came down and asked if they could meet with me. And we got together and they were talking about why Ellie's Place was such a critical importance in a community. I was kind of half listening to it, thinking, gosh, another nonprofit, where is there room for it? Well, it took me to that Sunday, a quiet moment in church, when I started to think about the things that I went through as a young person, losing my father, and thinking, gosh, no child should have to go through that alone, and in the way you do. So that became important to me, to do whatever I could so no child would face that alone.
Good morning, everyone and everyone. Wow, what a sea of emotion that you're all feeling this morning, I'm sure. These stories that Shelby and Beth, the Jakubics and the Cars have shared with us, I think will go with us as we go forward this week and next week. Thank you so much. This has been such a gift for sharing with us. Helen Louise Snow Stover, named for her paternal grandmother, was our fourth child. She became forever known as Ellie when we dropped the H and N from her name the day she was born. Born with a crooked little smile, a halo of tight blonde curls, and brilliant crossed eyes, she was also born with a fatal combination of neuromuscular, digestive, and pulmonary anomalies that made her life miserable. Grief and anxiety support surrounding this precious baby girl grew daily. And for 11 months, our family traveled nonstop on a terrifying and desperate odyssey in search of answers that would change her destiny. Ellie's spirit was tenacious, and she had an incredible will to live. She manifested unconditional love, and she inspired every one of the brilliant doctors who were engaged in her care. Ultimately, there were no good answers, and Ellie died 2 weeks shy of her first birthday on April 24th, 1989. On that day, her siblings, Hallie, age 7, Beckley, age 5, who's here today, and Bo, age 3, became grieving children. As certain as Ellie's life had challenged us, her death broke our hearts. My husband Woody and I were devastated by the depth and complexity of the grief that grabbed and ensnared our family. Through demonstrated angst, anger, tears, tantrums, silence, and screams, it became obvious that our surviving children were grieving too. In Michigan, there were no programs or agencies dedicated to addressing the needs of grieving children. As adults, we know that when someone you love dies, your life changes forever, but we also know that our life is not over because of that death. Young children don't have the experience or developmental understanding to know that their life will go on. The death of a family member can destroy a childhood. At first, friends, extended family, and teachers are sympathetic, supportive, and attentive, but then, sooner rather than later, they want, need, and expect that child to be happy and not preoccupied with the person who died. For children, it becomes easy to be left behind as their friends move on and adults become less patient. Grieving children feel isolated and often keep their feelings inside. They appear fine, but they aren't. Children are often referred to as silent grievers, and in order to survive Ellie's death, we desperately needed help. Luckily, at the time, the Junior League of Lansing had articulated a desire to support the needs of grieving children, so I enlisted in the mission. I took the lead and gathered a remarkable group of passionate volunteers to create a unique community resource in 1991. a healing center for grieving children, teens, and their families, which is now known as Ellie's Place. Fittingly and quite ironically, Ellie, E-L-E, reflects our extraordinarily important mission of embracing loss effectively. Thanks to the trust revealed and the empathy modeled while attending weekly support groups for 18 months, our family began to move forward. The energy and optimism necessary to get through the world and manage life's many up and downs returned to us. The kids felt empowered and safe, and together with other grieving children their own age, found ways to bear the unbearable, which meant living without someone they loved so much, their little sister Ellie. This morning we're here to support the opportunity for grieving children to learn about and cope with the power, persistence of their grief, to solidify memories of those who died, and to realize that they are not alone. We are all here to support Ellie's Place. Overwhelming sadness and heartbreak I feel today reminds me why the work of Ellie's Place is so very important. Death creates an empty bed, a vacant chair at the table, a hole in your heart. It impacts your sense of security and hope and so much more. And as Monica said, we can't stop the losses from occurring, but thankfully Ellie's Place is here and provides the time, community, and coping skills so that our grieving children and teens will be much more likely to navigate their lives with greater confidence, compassion, and joy.